What's up, everybody? Welcome to the season finale episode of The Guys of Texas. It is, what's today? Wednesday, the 14th, 15th. We have recovered a little bit. I feel like nerves have calmed a little bit. So we're a little bit happier this time. But before we go into any of that, got to talk about Last Stand hats. Last Stand Hats put out this sick hat within the last couple weeks. They've also got the DBU. I'm sure they're gonna. They came out with. I don't know if y'all saw the OHNO hat. That was pretty sick. I enjoyed seeing that. They brought it out just for the game. We were at Texas Live. I got to meet Mikey, the owner of Last Stand Hats. Awesome guy. We were very much alike. Not in it for anything but people. And I couldn't have asked for a better guy to get in touch with and possibly do a partnership next year. But make sure you go to laststandhats.com. I'm going to put up the promo code right here, laststandhats.com. Use the promo code laststand, all one word together, last stand. You get 15% off in the store. We will be working with them in the future. I can't wait. We're not here to make money off of it. We just support local. That is the whole reason that we do this. I've got the beer hiccups. This will be fun. But laststandhats.com. Go there. We got basketball still in season. We got baseball coming right up. They got plenty of gear. Go visit them there. So thank you guys for allowing us to be a part of you guys for the last end of this season and for sure for next season. I don't care if you want to do something with us or not. I'm actually a big fan. This hat it fits a lot better than I expected it when I saw it. There are some hats on there that will not fit my head, as I talked about before, but that's what happens when you got a fat head. So let's get into it. Welcome, boys. It's the first time I've seen you both since actually, I mean, since we got out of the car, because I didn't see you guys at all because y'all were sleeping the entire way home. But we'll talk a little bit about the game, kind of what our experience was. So we drove up, left about 12 o'clock from Gerald, moved up. We were expecting snow at least by Waxahachie, and there was just nothing. Finally, we get to Fort Worth on 30, and it started to be like, okay, it actually did snow here. But everything was melting away. Everything was fine as far as road wise goes. Everyone made it there. Went to Texas Live. What?
We were worried about traffic.
Yeah,
there wasn't like a car on the road, man.
You kept looking up the GPS. And you were like, dude, all these roads are blocked off. It's like, nah, it's fine. And we get there, and literally, it's Friday at 2-3 o'clock. Normally, those roads are packed, and it was completely empty. Thank God for winter weather and scaring all normal Texas people off, because we got a clean ride there. Went to Texas Live. It's crazy that they charge $20 for you to get into Texas Live before the game. Like, I guess you kind of have to, because most of those people are also going to stay for the game if you're really going there. But pretty pricey going into Texas Live, but it is always a fun time.
Great experience.
Oh yeah, it's rowdy. If you've never been to Texas Live, I highly suggest you do it. Maybe opening day for the Texas Rangers coming up. Also, I'm pretty sure the Rangers are going to Vegas. Or the Longhorns are going to Vegas. I'm pretty sure this year for one of their classics. And the other one they go to, I think they go to Houston for their other baseball classic that they play. But go up, catch game. Don't catch Cowboys game because you won't be able to do that until our football season. But yeah, Texas Live is awesome. We leave. Got to see Lanice. Hadn't seen her in a long time. Huge Texas Longhorn fan. She drove from Atlanta because her flight got canceled. Wow. So got to hang out with her. You guys got to meet her mom. Apparently, got to hang out in the Hobnob Club for a little bit. But it was good to see her. So we walk in. I had seats with my dad. The boys had standing room only seats, and they got to experience what I experienced for the first 4 times that I ever went to a Cowboys game for standing room only. If you're not there early and you stand there, you're fighting for seats. So for any kind of view, I think you boys.
I will never buy a standing room seat for Jerry World again.
Yep. This was a at the time of the purchase of the tickets, it was a let's get in, let's it was before the winter storm really picked up, and then tickets started to drop. So is what it is. We
I
got to see
mean, there was a great showing of fans there. Like I was surprised with the winter weather and all the flights that they were talking about. I was expecting like mass amount of seats being empty. And Jono and I can both attest there was hardly an empty seat in the entire building.
Yep.
I
You
feel
boys,
I feel like we fought for like an entire quarter trying to find seats. We kept
Yeah.
looking on StubHub and SeatGeek, and we're like, these seats are open. Then we walk down there and be like, no.
no, they're not. I heard a little rumor you tried to push somebody out of seats that you tried to act like you owned, and they said no. We actually have these tickets. So
Jono conned the sweetest old lady that was working
Yeah,
there as an
horrible.
attendant to like be his henchman.
nice.
She went down there and then finally she asked to see the tickets. We're like, oh, never mind. And walked away.
Well,
so close.
sounds like you boys had a great time. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit. I did, yeah. So Ohio State, I was actually shocked how many actually made it, because we saw we saw the statistics that came out for ticket sales, and 75% were out of Texas. Now let's be real here. A lot of Ohioans have moved to Texas because, let's be clear here, you like Texas better than you like Ohio. So, but yeah, they had a strong showing. Obviously, it's the semifinals. Like, you're going to have a strong showing, but with the weather the way it was and everything, it was kind of like, oh, okay. Like they did, and my seats were directly in the middle of all of them. We sat down, and I was like, oh boy, this will be fun. There were some guys behind us. Guy named Carl, podcast. The Game Day Experience. Hold on. I was supposed to write this down. I got to give the plug. Carl and his buddies were behind us. Spotify is what he is on. It is, God dang. Details Matter. That's what it is. Details Matter, a college football podcast. Carl runs the podcast, kind of breaks down games. He's actually reached out a couple days after, giving me some different websites and stuff for injuries and everything. Helped me out a ton. So thank you, Carl, if you are watching. I did have a blast with those guys. I got the banter that I wanted. That was friendly. Like, that's exactly what I wanted. So we got to go back and forth the whole time. And they were a great time. No one around us was really Ohio State fans or anything with that bad. Did you guys have any experience with any Ohio State fans?
I was going to say, as far as Ohio State fans, when we were at Texas Live, I was kind of talking some mess about every Ohio State fan looks like a douche, blah, 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 just being a jerk. But actual interactions with real Ohio State fans, I have to say, I didn't have a single bad interaction with them.
Yep.
They were all friendly, cordial. They weren't obnoxious when they're celebrating. So I was actually pretty impressed with their fan base. They showed up. They were really active during the game, but they weren't assholes. So good on them.
Any other interactions with Ohio State fans?
Yeah, I mean, once we got to our standing room area, there was two girls in front of us. They were Ohio State fans. They ended up being super cool. We ended up talking to them for a little bit, and then they're like, "Hey, you mind taking a picture of us?" I was like, "Yeah." And then she kind of like half-assed the horns down, and we were like, "If you're gonna do it, do it." Like, come on, like, stop half-assing it. We ended up talking to some more Ohio State fans around by us, and we kind of had some like playful banter with the two guys that were next to us wearing Ohio State stuff. And it slowly started turning a little bit more than that. And then it came out that he's an Oregon fan. And he just decided that he wanted to, I'm pretty sure I'm quoting him on this, he just wanted to root for the winning team. And at that point, that's when he pretty much lost, even though Ohio State fans were like, get this guy out of here. Like,
yeah.
And obviously had a few, we've had a few, and I lost all respect for him whenever he said he was an Oregon fan. I was like, dude, I can put up with banter if you're an Ohio State fan, but being an Oregon fan, I was like, come on, dude. Like, you spent that much money, you went and bought that merch for a team that you got stomped by last week.
Imagine going to buy an A&M jersey.
Yeah.
And wearing it. Well, they would never be in the semifinals, but
what would that feel like, DJ?
I don't know. I've never done that before. I've never worn an A&M jersey. Never happened.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, maybe
It's never
not
happened.
Jersey, but
No, okay, let's not. That's semantics. Like, let's not. That was a past. Okay, try to support my friends who are mostly supportive now. Some of them not so much, but still understand it. That's fine. That's what a rivalry's for. But yeah, it. I also had a weird Texas fan experience. I am in line to get a drink. I see a Texas fan following two Ohio State fans, yelling at them, saying, "Yeah, Alabama would beat y'all's ass." And I went, "Huh?" I said, and he walked right in front of me through the line. I said, "What did you just say?" He's like, "You
weird
heard me." I
shirt,
was
bro.
like, what are you wearing?" He's like, "What, man? Look, listen, here's the deal. I've been cheering for the Longhorns my entire life, and I can't do it anymore, man. I can't do it. I'm going to Alabama next year. Roll Tide." I said, "Don't you ever say that. You take that shirt off right now." He said, "What?" I said, "No. You pick one because you don't get to just jump on bandwagons whenever you want. You're with a team, you're with a team." And I just gave him like a full coaching experience right in the middle of a game. I said, "Alabama can't beat them because they're not in this game. We're in this game, and we're going to win this game. And I need you focused and get on board, and let's root for our boys." He's like, "I just can't do it, man." I was like, "Cool, get out of here. I'm done with you. Goodbye."
Picking the worst time
It was,
possible to join
bro,
Alabama.
it was the most unbelievable. And that's the thing. That's what I can't. And we'll talk a little bit about this later. But Texas fans, the generic, like, "Oh, hey, we're in the playoffs," Texas fans, I am done with. I can't stand it. You're running players off. So we'll
Dude,
talk
they were
about
out
that.
in force. They were out in force at the Cotton Bowl, man.
There were some weird
There was-
Texas fans.
There was some like bandwagon, just
Yes.
like t-shirt fans. It's like, where have you been, bro? I know you just decided that you're jumping back on board right now as soon as they got to the playoffs.
Oh, I went to
You could
battle.
definitely feel that.
Bunch of Jonte Cooks running around. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that later too.
Strays.
All right, so let's talk about the game for a minute. I guess there was a football game in the middle of this. Going
Was
into
there?
it,
I didn't see it.
yeah, going. Well, I know I did. I got to see it on Jerry's huge TV. My big focus was do not watch the TV the whole time. Do not watch the TV. So I watched the game with the players.
It's so hard up there.
It is hard because it's.
I mean, the view, like, I don't feel like there's a bad seat in that stadium. Like,
Correct.
actual view. Like, even when you're up high, like, the way you're looking down at the field, it's a great perspective, but you cannot not just stare at that giant screen. It's insane.
Well, I started thinking about it. It's like our stadium here in Austin, I'm pretty sure we fit more actual seats than Jerry World. And it's
Jerry World's
crazy to think like,
80,000.
yeah, it's crazy to think like, oh, you could be higher. Like, I don't remember the last time I was all the way up. Well, maybe we do that next year. Maybe we take one of the throw off games like San Jose State, and our goal is we're going to sit at the very top. Depending on how hot that's going to be. Let's be clear. There's stipulations to this, but let's see what it's like to sit all the way up top. But it was kind of crazy to think that like our stadium, like just it feels bigger than Jerry World, and it is, but it doesn't feel bigger. It actually like looks smaller, to be honest. When you're in Jerry World, it's like, okay, this is a smaller stadium for ours, and Jerry World's just smaller, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, but all the way up top, watching the Ants. Ohio State scores their first drive. Texas did receive the ball first. Their drive got squashed quick. Ohio State comes in, they score, and my immediate reaction was, "Oh boy!" Like it was like, okay, like I believe in our defense. Like I think this will be good. Like obviously that was the game plan they had for that first drive, but I just kind of thought about, oh boy, what was y'all's thoughts at that point?
I was still, I mean, like we said, the entire first half was very hit or miss for our viewing abilities, but I wasn't too worried when they went up 7-0, like the way that we were playing. I really wasn't worried. I mean, rewatching the game, it felt more dominant for Ohio State than what I felt like in the moment watching the game in person. Rewatching it on TV, I was like, holy crap, Ohio State looks good. And I didn't care at all when I was at the stadium. So Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the game went, we were pretty neck and neck the entire time. The momentum kept feeling like it was leaning Ohio State, but Texas could keep hanging. Like they were hanging on by threads, making it happen to stay in the game. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we saw from the get go on that opening drive, we get down in close to field goal range. I believe that field goal would have been right around a 50-yarder,
Nope.
and it was there was no hesitation. It
Yep.
was the offense is out on the field, and that's why I was like, ah, man, okay, Sark isn't going to kick this ball unless it's a gimme at this point. So turning that ball over, and then Ohio State going down and scoring pretty easily. But then after that, man, the whole rest of that half up until really the last like minute and a half or something like that of the half was just punt, 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 punt. I mean, both defenses just stood tall for the majority of that first half, and then all of a sudden Texas goes down and scores, and then I'm still celebrating at that point, and then I look up and I'm like, what just happened? Like,
golly.
yeah, it was kind of a blur that first half, and then we were trying to find our spot the whole time where we could get locked in. So it was an interesting first half. The way that Ohio State came out, yeah, I definitely was like, oh crap.
Yeah, I got to a point to where when we scored, like number one, both touchdowns from where I was before the ball even left Quinn's hand, I was celebrating. Like I knew, like, oh, those are both touchdowns. So I was celebrating, and then the one thing you can't do is give up a 75-yard screenplay,
Yeah.
like with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
Like that's what ended. In the back of my head, the second they scored that, I went, "Oh no, please don't let that be the one that actually ends us." And Texas comes back out. We look good, man. Like honestly, like that defense was so good. Like the defensive battle going back and forth was awesome to watch. Like that was hard nosed football, and that was a battle. And all the way up until the last 2 minutes of the game, I was like, yes. And then you got the last drive that we get to, and it's pass interference. And then we have our 4 downs, and you bring in Gibson, which why he's the big package, I don't understand. I just really don't. Like why does Sark think that's the big package? You've got give it to the fullback, whoever. I don't remember what number it was that we put in. I was like, that's a big boy. Just give him the ball. And I'm assuming that Arch had concussion protocol. That's what I am assuming because he did have the helmet-to-helmet contact. Why Arch wasn't called for a fumble is crazy to me. Like that was a fumble. Like they reviewed it even, and that was a fumble. Now I didn't look at his knees necessarily, but
No, yeah, in the review, his knee was down just before
his knee was down. Okay,
yeah,
but clearly he got knocked out a little bit, which is why the ball came out. Which, hey, look, Sark called the targeting on that late hit after the whistle was blown. Sark's over here I was like, okay, he's playing the crowd. But then when it happened to Arch in the moment, I didn't realize that he got hit in the helmet like that. Like he got hit square in the helmet. Now, I consider that similar to the Taft hit. I don't think it was malicious. Like,
right.
It is what it is. Like, cool. Like, that's tit for tat. So, Arizona State, you can shut up. That's how we feel. So, that's football. That's how it works. But I don't like the fact that Arch got knocked out like that easily. Yeah, it's helmet to helmet, but it was a glancing blow. It wasn't like I didn't feel like it was a super hard hit.
I think it was almost the ground too that really was
that's
the
true,
bad part of it. Because I mean, he did get hit, and then I think it was just him kind of.
Did he actually get knocked out? Like
it looked. So when you watch, like when I went back and looked at the fumble portion of it, it almost looked like for a quick second that he actually lost consciousness, which is why the ball came out.
That's what it looked like. I don't remember noticing that during the replay. And I know, like I was scrolling on Twitter and somebody talked about was defending the play calling at the end and said that Arch might have been in concussion protocol. But
right.
I didn't notice that in the replay that it seemed like he had that issue. So I don't know.
I will say up top, I could even see the holds, especially that one on Simmons. I called that out immediately, and Carl behind me was like, "We write our checks. We've already written our checks. The casting man." I'm like, "All right, man." But yeah, there was some absurd holds that were not
Yeah.
called. I get you want to let them play football, but some of them, if I can see them all the way up where I am, like, come on, like it got out. I got a little bit out of control.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was a few there, and then some questionable things too, like Gunnar Helm getting the taunting penalty for just pointing.
That
Dude.
was absurd.
So
Like
that's
how?
kind of strange too. I was just kind of that one getting called. I was like, come on, man! Like you're going to call that in that moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, to kind of go back to the goal line, right? We're sitting there. We just gotta punch it in, right? You know, you're sitting there at the goal line. You get stuffed on first down. Been saying it all year, man. Sark gets too cute in situations. Like if you line up in the jumbo package and you stuff us 4 times in a row from the
Yeah.
1 or 2 yard line, we don't deserve to play in the national championship.
Yep.
You know, at the end of the day. I just hated that call, man. Tossing it out to the 8 yard line on the short side of the field at
Yeah.
that too. So Blue had only so much space. If anything, whip it the other way, so at least maybe you could get an edge on somebody. But man, I hated that call, and then that just kind of disrupted everything. And going back to, I do think there was an issue with Arch because I don't know if y'all saw too. Obviously, when players are leaving the field, they're responsible for their equipment and their helmet. Arch didn't even have his helmet out on the
Mhm.
field in the second half. So there was obviously an issue there where he wasn't going to come in that moment. But that being said, man, line it up, smash mouth football, man, at that moment. And I hated that we attempted it once and then decided to go away with a pitch in that moment. But you know, that's a tough way to lose. And then, you know, seeing that the strip sack, man. I mean, he blew around that corner.
His own
I mean,
former roommate, man.
he
That's
blew around the
disrespectful.
corner. I know.
Yeah.
Seeing the way how easily he got around that corner. I mean, Quinn didn't even have a chance to
Oh, yeah.
breathe in that moment. You know, by the time he got probably to his second read, he was already getting hit. So
Who did he come around? Was that Kelvin?
I don't. Yeah, I think
that
it
was,
I think it was.
that was
Kelvin.
Cam Williams.
Oh, that's who it was. Yes,
Was it?
I think it was Cam Williams.
and he got
but,
bullied. That one play, he got bullied. It's like, man.
Yeah, that being the play. So, man, it was just tough swing of emotions because you know you get those pass interference, and I'm like, here we go, we're knocking on the door. This is it, and then, dude, it was the matter of seconds that I was like,
Dude, the pendulum swing from high to low was insane right there.
Yeah.
The 2 pass interferences is like, oh, dude, they're not going to be able to stop us. We're just getting fresh downs every single play, and then all of a sudden, game's wrapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
I mean, to be honest, it probably saves us more heartbreak because Sark would have probably just gone for 2 rather than trust Auburn and gone for 2. So
it was disappointing. We finally, like, after all that time of looking for seats and everything, finally Lanice had ended up texting us and asked us if we wanted to come over where they were hanging out. We went over and they didn't have seats, but they had like a standing
Club
area.
area.
It was in a really club area and like a really nice bar. And I was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be great. Then all of a sudden that play happened and like it had the overhang, so we couldn't see like the scoreboard or anything or the time and everything. And all of a sudden I was like, all right, let's lock in. And finally I leaned down and look. I was like, oh, dude, that's time to go. We just got here. It's time to go already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I kind of just stepped back to the glass wall right there, and I just put my head up against that wall because I was like, it all kind of hit me in that moment. I'm like, oh no, dude, it's over. Like, this is how this season ends.
Season's wrapped.
It's tough, man. And you know, I hate to just hear the freaking criticism and the hate for Quinn still, man. Like,
it was absurd.
I do not get it, man. It's not like Quinn did anything in this game for us to lose. You know, he threw that interception on, you know, the last drive when you're just trying to make something happen. Other than that, I thought he was pretty efficient through the game and made right decisions when once again we weren't able to run the ball. I mean, this was 3 out of the last 4 games that we've had 0 run game, non-existent. that was tough to watch again. I mean, Wisner was 17 carries and he didn't even get 50 yards.
Mhm.
So there's definitely some things that need to be done as far as um, our run game, though. But man, Sark's so good with getting the running backs out of the backfield on passes. Man, both those blue touchdowns. I mean, those
Bro,
were open.
like I said, the second I saw the play, like I saw Blue open up on both of them, and I just saw Quinn just look that way and immediately just started celebrating my dad. At one point, my dad's sitting down, and the first one I went to go celebrate, and I put my hand back to go hug him, and he's still sitting down. I slapped him in the face, knocked his glasses off. I was like, no, yes, no. But it was yeah, they were just those play calls were great, and it finally felt like we were getting a rhythm. Um it just, man, I will say, like, the whole Quinn thing, it's crazy. Like, the top three quarterbacks in Texas history is Vince, it's Colt, and it's Quinn. And there's no doubt about that. Like, you can't question that. Like, what Quinn has done, bringing us out of the depths of hell from what we had with Casey Thompson and all this stuff, like, it it's been a world of difference. And now we get to enjoy going to the semifinals 2 years in a row. Um, I do think we're to a point in college football where there's not going to be a full blown dynasty like the Alabama or the Georgia with NIL, with the transfer portal. Unless things get under control, where you can only transfer so many times, and the NIL is under control, you're going to have a whole lot more parity in college football. Guys are going to start chasing money. You're going to start paying players at a high school. That is, I feel like that is the new dynamic right now, unless something gets under control. So for right now, you're not going to see a dynasty necessarily team, except for the fact that Sark is really doing that right now. Like, he's doing everything but getting to that final game and winning that championship right now. He's doing everything right. He's creating the right culture. Last year, we were like, oh my, we just lost so many players to the NFL. How are we going to rebuild? All our wide receivers are gone. Here we are now. They're doing the exact same thing, freaking out. They're like, all our people are gone. Like, look, we don't rebuild, we reload. And that's what Sark has been talking about. And we've already got it coming up again. We have really fresh players coming out of high school. We're going to have somebody coming out of the transfer portal here coming the spring. Like, we're fine. Like, it's the good news is we do have money.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if y'all saw, apparently we passed A&M on money for school. So sorry you don't have that one to hang your hat on either, A&M.
Wait, what are you talking about? We've always had more money than A&M.
Well, no, A&M always talks about, and they bring up these little statistics.
I
Of,
know. It drives.
but
I don't care. I think it's a dumb
I'm just
argument to
saying,
have, but like
it
Casey from
is.
Barstool used to always like that
Yes.
was always her thing. It's like A&M's got
We
more
have
money.
money.
Like, in what world are you talking about that you have more money?
Yeah.
I don't get it. If
I'll
ever
tell
look at
you
the
where they're
schools'
talking about.
endowments, I think we tripled them up. I don't know.
They're paying Jimbo all that money. That's where all that
Yeah.
money's going. All right. Anything else
I
to
feel
talk
like
about the game?
on the point that you were just saying, we've already watched a very similar thing happen in college football just 4 years ago with Georgia. They kept having top tier recruiting classes back to back years and just could not get over the hump. And it just kept being the conversation point, like, will they get there? Will they get there? And once you stack that many talented recruiting classes, I feel like dam's fine. Like, as long as you have decent coaching in place, the dam's going to break. And
Yep.
we're on the cusp of it. And I hope to see it happen. But dude, this recruiting that we're stacking up, especially the guys coming in this year, I am so stoked about. They are big athletic dudes. So positive things in the future.
Yeah, I mean, just one more thing on the game, man. This kind of was the game that I anticipated it being, with both defenses kind of flexing their muscle
Yeah.
at times in this game. But, dude, how about our freaking secondary holding Jeremiah Smith to one catch on 3 yards when everybody in the media was drooling over this guy, saying he will not be stopped. They even posted that thing saying we had 3 defenders on him at one time. That was not true. We had a defensive back on him with a safety over the top helping, just like we did on every other receiver.
Zoom out.
Yeah, fake news on that. But the way that we were able to hold, both of their top receivers completely in check, their running game never got going either. They had 24 carries for 81 yards, 3 yards a carry. I feel like Howard was pressured most of the game. Could have been some holding calls there, but I'm not going to, harp too big on that.
There most definitely were holding calls. Yes, I saw that.
I mean, overall, man, I was super pleased with the defense and the way they played. Again, this defense was special all year, and I'm excited. I know we'll get to it here in a second, but I'm excited to have some of these guys that have announced that they're coming back. That'll kind of be the focal point and the heart and soul of this defense moving forward. So, like you said, man, I'm excited to reload because there's guys that are coming in that are ready to go, and there's some guys that didn't get enough playing time this year just because of how stacked some of these guys were on defense. So I'm already excited for next year, man.
Yeah.
So talking about that, let's dive into currently the future of Texas. Guys leaving to the NFL draft. You've got Velton Gardner, who didn't play at all this year. Maurice Blackwell, Cam Williams, Alfred Collins, Bill Norton. Bill Norton, change your number, please. Please change your number. Jake Majors, Gunnar Helm, David Gimba, Isaiah Bond, Matthew Golden, Vernon Broughton, Gavin Holmes, Jaden Blue, Hayden Connor, Kelvin Banks, and as of today, Quinn is going to the NFL. Thank God. I could not see him in another college football uniform. For what he's done for us,
yeah,
I hope the best for him. They're asking questions about him going the first round. I'm like, I don't. That may be the reason why he went, but I don't see first round.
Who's asking questions of him going?
It's all over Twitter.
Oh, okay.
They're loaded questions, but
I think he could impress in the combine.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
we've seen all year. Yes, Quinn's made a decent amount of throws this year that make us scratch our head, but we've seen plenty of times that Quinn's made throws where we're like, he's the only quarterback in the country in college that can make that throw at this moment. So, out of the guys that entered, who's the biggest surprise in y'all's book?
Blue is for me.
Yeah, it was weird. I had to check myself when I was going through it. I'm seeing people announcing, and I'm like, I don't know, Matthew Golden, yeah, you go do you, man. You did a good job. And then Blue popped up, and I was what are you doing? Annoyed. I checked myself on it. No, dude, if he thinks he can go make money, go do it. But it did catch me off guard. I thought he'd definitely have an opportunity to be a bigger piece next year. Now he solidified himself, but we'll figure something out.
I think he's just kind of going while it's hot right now. He had a good end of the season. He obviously was one of the best players in this game. And I mean, I definitely think he could be successful in the NFL as far as being the kind of that scat back, the third down back type guy. I mean, he's explosive, but it just felt like he needed so much more time to actually get a bigger role. But you can't blame a guy for going to the NFL when he's got a shot. But dude, once again, this is going to be back-to-back years that this draft is going to be absolutely loaded with Texas players. We have a shot to top last year's draft, which we thought that one wouldn't be touched with it. But if you're looking at the draft projections, man, we got a lot of guys that are on the board right now.
Yeah.
So then you got the transfer portal. Finkley went to Kansas. It's really Sadir Mitchell went to Louisiana State. That one was
Sorry, you don't. Did you say I don't see Andrew Makuba on this list?
Yeah, because he's not on which list?
Going to the NFL.
Because he's not on there yet, is he?
Yeah, he's officially out.
Oh, when did that happen?
I think it was 2 days ago or yesterday. He announced
Makuba. Oh, sorry. Wait. Oh, this is a list that I pulled up today.
Yeah, but I think today, I believe Alfred Collins was today.
Oh, Makuba is on here. He just didn't copy, I guess, over. But yeah, Makuba is on there also, which that sucks also. Yeah. Which also brings to the next point of Texas fans running people out of town like they did Worthy. Muhammad is on the possible transfer portal list.
Is that the name that people are talking about? I've been
Mhm.
wondering who they were referring
Kinda
to as
weird.
like a starter that was thinking about transferring.
Which is crazy. Like, there's not many people. Like, Texas is going to have to front some money for that. Like,
I
he's
think
played
they'll
well
find a
enough.
way to get him back.
I mean, that's the one that Texas fans apparently, like, everyone started. Apparently, after the game, everyone started to bully him. It's like, okay, like, come on, guys. Like, you're bullying Quinn and like acting like he just hasn't done anything for you. This is
Dude, Muhammad's been phenomenal.
the Cowboy
Yeah.
Longhorn fans are out in full force,
Yeah.
including my wife, and she's not even a Cowboys fan. But it's like Texas fans are just starting to run people off, and it's getting absurd.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's tough to see, man. I mean, one guy coming back, we haven't really mentioned too much yet. Dude, Michael Taft coming back was one that I didn't really expect to happen. With the way that the season he had, I just really expected Taft to bounce to the NFL and just catch it while it's hot. But hearing him coming back, that's going to be huge for that secondary to kind of have him as that leader. Seeing that video of him leaving the stadium, screaming and, he's such a level-headed guy all year, all year we didn't really see him get too high or too low, but seeing him leave the stadium, you could tell, man, that he's just heartbroken.
breaking news:
Oh,
another player has just gone to the NFL, and it is the man that gave us heart attacks every punt return.
Oh,
It's not-
dang.
No,
Sorry.
Silas Bolden is going to the NFL.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he couldn't come back.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, there's definitely ways around getting guys back for another
Okay.
year. Clearly, Cam Rising. Like, let's be real here. So yeah, Silas Bolden has officially entered the draft. I'm just going off of anything else I see on Twitter because I've been like, on Texas Football put out a very ominous tweet yesterday about how we're about to see some boys enter the transfer portal, and I haven't seen much of that yet. So someone else that's probably in the transfer portal, I don't know if he's allowed to or not, but Jonte Cook back on the market, sounds like. The guy is the Antonio Brown.
Mutual decision, man.
Antonio Brown of college football. Like, that guy is A&M. He's available. Just letting you know, he's back if you want to get him this time. Enjoy that because my
That's
God,
wild, dude. Wild.
He's there for
Committing
what, a
to a
week?
program that had already wrapped for the season and being there for like 2 weeks. If he was even like, I don't even know how long he was on campus. Get like 3 workouts in.
I heard it was a couple days.
dude, it makes you appreciate Sark and how much bullshit he had to put up with this year with him. There's no telling what he was doing in that locker room. It's just crazy to think that how long was this going on this year that they were just like, all right, we're going to keep putting up with it. He's top talent. And then obviously they hit that wall. And now we're seeing that Washington can't even put up with it when they're not even practicing. It's just, this dude's just on campus and they can't put up with him.
Yikes.
That sucks, man. Dude is talented.
Yeah, man.
Anyone else? It's really not a whole lot.
Celia Kana, I wasn't surprised about him going. Finkley going to Kansas. I like Finkley, man. He's a good dude. I hope he has success at Kansas.
Yes. We do have a lot of young talent coming up, and we'll talk about that come spring game. We'll kind of recap of really who's coming in, just to make sure that's official with all the different signees. They can still, I'm sure they can decide they don't want to go and then transfer somewhere else. So, and then we'll have the transfer portal completed by then, I'm sure as well. When's the transfer portal finish for the next portion? I can't remember.
I'm not sure on the dates.
Still not up to date on that. So
yeah.
But yeah, we got a little bit of a break. Big much needed. Baseball season's coming up. For the Longhorns, Schlossnagle, I don't know if any of you heard of him, A&M fans, but he's coming in to run the baseball program, and they came out, I think they're ranked 19th, I believe is what I saw.
Yep.
for them to start the preseason. So excited to see kind of what he brings. I'll be following a lot more baseball this year, just kind of keep in touch because that's something I've missed a lot. Rangers are going to be good this year. They will win the West, already front runners to win the West. So a lot of good things to enjoy in the off season. We will come back a little bit for the spring game, talk about that. But
I
until
really
then,
want to go to a couple of baseball games this year. I feel
Yes.
like I said that last year when we were finishing up, but I didn't end up going. I haven't gone to a UT baseball game since I was a child. So with Schloss, I'm gonna use it as a reason to get more involved in Texas baseball. I think it'll be fun.
well, this year SEC baseball is going to be awesome. Like
that'd be fun.
they got a lot of good programs, so this year will be even better to enjoy some games. So we'll definitely hit that up. You boys have anything else before we wrap the season?
Shout out to TJ for driving John back home while we were
Oh,
completely
my.
passed out in the back.
Boy.
John was splayed out in the back seat, and I was in the front seat apparently talking every 10 minutes.
You literally would just pass out. You'd wake up and laugh and then repeat what I'm hearing on a podcast, and you go right back to sleep. Maybe happened 10 times in a 2.5 hour drive.
I don't remember a single thing besides eating Taco Bell, and
Yep.
then I opened my eyes in Gerald. Like it felt like I blinked for 10 seconds.
You literally complained about how fast we got there. You're like, wait a minute, no, I want to sleep more. It's like,
I did.
No, guy, you got to go home.
I opened my eyes and I was like, "Oh, this nap has been so good." And then I realized where we were, and I was like, "Oh crap, man, we're already home."
Yeah, I think TJ stopping to get that Taco Bell might have saved my life.
Yes.
Pretty sure it did. But
Yes.
man, what a fun year it's been with you guys. I enjoyed it every week, man. I had a good time going to the games. Capital Tailgaters hosting us all year. That was ideal, man. And this has been one of the funnest Texas years that I've ever had. So super stoked to get after it again next year. We'll take a little break, obviously, and kind of reset. But what a freaking season, man. We
Yeah, man.
all the way into, January, mid-January almost at this point, we were still right there. So I had a blast with you guys, man. I can't wait to run it back.
Absolutely, man. Let's go. How many games did we hit this year? I mean, TJ's got the lead, but we
hit
did a lot of games.
8 or
together this
9.
year.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but it was definitely a record for me. I don't think I've ever been to that many games.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Till
It's
next season.
been a fun time. I can't thank you boys enough. It's been a long season. You get exhausted and everything, but this journey with both of you has been a blast journey for everybody watching. We appreciate you so much. We have over doubled, almost tripled what we had last year for subscribers. So if you are watching the end of this for some miraculous reason, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. We do enjoy you guys being here. It's been a fun ride, boys. We enjoyed some fantastic games. I can't wait to do it again next year. Like, it is one of those, we're going to relax and we're going to do it again next year. Get your hats at laststandhats.com. Use the promo code laststand. Until then, boys, hook 'em horns.
Welcome.
Welcome.